Hello, hello, hello. There's always an issue with Facebook for some reason. Hey, y'all. Hey, this is your girl, Delise Robinson. Today, we're talking about tax deeds, tax liens. For those who want to, first of all, let me apologize. Yesterday, I was supposed to come on, but I had a lot going on and I couldn't get you guys in here the way I wanted to. So, with that being said, we are back today. So we took yesterday off. We didn't do the tax deeds, tax liens. That's what we're doing today. So today is all about how to build wealth using tax deeds and tax liens. How to build wealth using tax deeds and tax liens. Because some of you, not all of you, some of you are still unsure about what area it is you want to go into in order to get into real estate investing. So tax deeds is a good way to tax deeds and tax liens are a very good way to get into this on the low. Meaning you don't have to have a lot of money out of pocket. You don't have to have a lot of money out of pocket, and you definitely do not have to have credit, and you do not need a bank unless you're going for some money that you actually don't have. You know what I mean? You bid money that you actually don't have. So that's where that comes in at. So with that being said, my lovelies, grab your pens, grab your papers, and let's get ready for the content today. Today we're talking about tax deeds and tax liens. How can you build wealth using tax deeds and tax liens? Not only are we going to discuss the ins and outs of this, we're also going to talk about how you can get into this with the we're also going to talk about how you can get into this with little to no money out of pocket. When I say little, because y'all know I do everything on the creative finance strategies. I do wholesaling, I do subject to lease options, seller financing, Airbnb, everything. So I can tell you point blank how this works. And that's the only way I can be able to tell you. Okay. Now, grab your pens, grab your papers, and also you won't need calculators today unless we try to calculate the 20% redemption cost. But other than that, you won't really need it. 20% is easy. Take 10% and multiply by 2. So, what I want to tell y'all and what y'all need to know is this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up my notes because right now Facebook, as always, is tripping hard and they won't let me. So if you're on Facebook, I'm sorry I can't see you today. Facebook won't let me come on the right way and do the right thing. So we're going to talk about the differences. We're going to talk about what you need to do in order to redeem your properties. If you've lost a property and you want to add some insight into this, you can put your comments, you can say do so in the comments. Now, my name is Lisa Robinson. I am y'all's favorite around the way girl. Y'all favorite real estate people, Miss Lisa Robinson, giving it to you straight with no chaser out here in these real estate streets. I do this for a living in real life. That's why today y'all gonna get this t-shirt. Why? Because as soon as this live is over, I have to go clean out a basement. I am physical with mine. I do it. I'm in it. I'm living it. Okay. This is not something that I just decided to do two years ago and now I'm going to coach you and tell you all this great stuff. No, I've been in these real estate streets for the past 27 years. Don't let this pretty brown face fool y'all. I am 54, 5'4". Don't hate on it because good black don't crack. That's what my grandma used to say. So now what we're going to do is today we're going to talk. This is for aspiring real estate investors who do not have a whole lot of money. I'm going to say it again. Aspiring real estate investors who do not have a lot of money. You don't have that 20% that they want you to put down. You don't have good credit. You don't have access to bank funds. So this is another area you can go into where you don't need any of that. I don't need your credit. I don't need a whole lot of cash. I do need some cash, not a whole lot of it. And we can even teach you how to, inside the Creative Wealth Academy, we even teach you how you don't really need your cash. You might have it. We teach you how you don't need it. Okay. So with that said, let's get ready to get into it. Today, we're talking about how you can use tax liens and tax deeds to acquire property, build cash flow, or earn interest. What's that about, Lisa? Y'all see. Okay, all without needing the banks. So anytime you have a question, if I say something, that's one of the major housekeeping rules that I have. If you attend my live streams, if you attend my live events where I do my lunch and learns in different cities around the country, if you attend anything where I am speaking out of my face and I say something that you do not understand, you ask a question. I'm not on here just to say, oh, I went live today. That's not what this is about. This is about teaching people who do not know that they can invest in real estate with little to no money out of pocket. So tax deeds, tax liens is one of those little bitty known secrets. You've heard about it, but you don't know about it. So today I'm going to teach you what to do. Okay, so stick around to the end and we're going to give you some other information that you're going to need throughout the course of this. Okay, now what are tax liens and tax deeds? A tax lien, they are two different things. Don't let these people in these social media streets get you twisted. A tax deed and a tax lien are two totally different things. They are not the same. Do they both come from being in foreclosure? Yes. But how they are handled and what they are called are two different things. So I want you to understand that before you get anything else. I want you to know a tax deed and a tax lien are two totally different things. Okay? Because I don't want y'all to say, well, Lisa, we didn't know that. I'm telling you right now. Is two totally different things. Okay. Now, a tax lien is placed on a property. It's a lien against the property by the city, state, town, village, or whatever municipality is owed the tax money. They place this lien on the property. It's no different than your mortgage lien. It's no different than a mechanic's lien. It's no different than if somebody sues you and they put a lien against your property. If you fall into default with your taxes and you are in a tax lien municipality, they will place a lien for your defaulted tax money on your property. Okay, that is a lien. Now, the county will sell that lien to an investor. Notice, I didn't say they sold your house. I said they sold the lien. They sold the lien to an investor at auction. Now, in some municipalities, okay, don't get me twisted. I keep telling y'all, don't get it twisted. In some municipalities, you can actually buy liens. You can go right to the county clerk's office and buy liens. Yeah, y'all didn't know that, did y'all? Well, now you do. Okay. Now you can actually go and buy the lien. Now you're not buying the property. You're buying the right to collect interest. Y'all see the eyelashes? Interest, which is money, or possibly the property if it's not redeemed. Now we're going to talk about the redemption period in a minute as well. Now, a tax deed, totally different. A property is seized and sold outright after taxes go unpaid for a set amount of time. Investors are bidding on the actual property. Now, I live in New York. New York, let me tell you, we are a tax deed state. So if your property goes to auction in New York State and somebody buys it, it's gone. Okay? Now, Tennessee is a tax lien state. It's a state where you can buy liens. Now, don't get it twisted. There are municipalities within New York State who will practice the tax lien, but for the majority of New York State, we are a tax deed state. So that means, what does that mean, Delisa? That means, here are the key differences between tax liens and tax deeds. You buy the lien when it's a tax lien. You buy the actual property when it's a tax deed. I'll say it again. You buy the lien when it's a tax lien. That means there's a lien against that property. So you didn't buy the property, you bought the lien. You bought the debt that is owed to on the property. Now, in a tax deed state, you bought the property outright. So it's yours. You can do what you want with it. Now, in a tax lien, the investor earns interest, and then the amount of interest you earn is set, is set by the municipality. If you earn interest on the debt that you bought the lien for. So, Exhibit A. I should have been a lawyer in my previous life. I think I was. In this life, my mother told me as much as I love to argue, I should have been a lawyer. However, I'm not, but I love law. Exhibit A. This property at 123 Main Street has a tax lien against it. I go to the auction, I purchase this lien. If I purchase the tax lien for $20,000, that means the person who owns this house owes me $20,000 plus interest. Now, the interest amount is set by the municipality. The time they have to pay me is also set by the municipality. Okay? Now, in the risk to me is that the homeowner may come and pay this off, and I don't get the property. But what I do get is interest because they have to pay me interest. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this because it blew my mind when I first saw a tax lien auction in progress. It just blew my mind. It was a phone auction. You did it online. And I was in Memphis. I was watching it in Memphis, Tennessee, and you watched it online live. And it went crazy. So now in a tax deed, you actually buy the property. You get full ownership and it's free and clear of any debt. So you own this property, but you also own any issues that come with this property, like repairs, liens that may sneak up that nobody knew about, things like that. So sometimes there's a redemption period with a tax deed. And let me explain what we mean by tax deed. But often that's already expired because they try to do in a tax deed state, they're going to try and do the redemption period before it gets to auction. So once it goes to auction, it's a wrap. You can't do it no more. Okay. Now let's talk about how the process works. We're going to talk about tax liens. When you are doing tax liens, the county holds a tax lien auction. And like I said, I'm going to tell you, I witnessed this firsthand for the first time ever, probably like maybe 4 or 5 years ago in Memphis, Tennessee, tax liens. Now, in a tax lien state, in this auction, a friend of mine, well, she was an associate of mine, she was like, you want to watch the auction? I was like, yeah. So we logged in, we watched the auction. Kid you not, this property started at and everything is online. It's not a whole bunch of people raising paddles. It's online bidding. So you go into this room, you watch. You're a spectator of the sport, and you see all these people bidding on these properties. So this property came up. It was a 4-unit property. With and it owed I think $10,000. It was like $10,000 it was owed. My friend ended up winning the bid at $180,000. This property went from $10,000 up to $180,000. And that's because everybody knew this guy wasn't going to redeem this property. And they knew it was in decent condition. It was already boarded up. It was empty. But here's the thing. So when the county holds the auction, you bid on interest rates. Some states use premium bidding. They just say, this is the interest rate. Now, in the state of Georgia does tax liens. In the state of Georgia, they have a 20% interest. So on my $20,000, told you I was going to do redemption costs. Those of you who follow me and have been following me forever, since I started live streaming in 2016, y'all all know I'm mathematically challenged. So don't get it twisted. Your girl always got a calculator. So that means I get $4,000 on top of my $20,000. So in order for the owner to redeem this property back from me, they have to pay me $24,000. Now I'm going to tell you why this is a lucrative way to get into real estate investing. One, you don't own the property. So that means you don't have to fix it up. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't own it, so you don't have to fix it up. You don't have to do anything. That's all on the owner. Okay. You own the lien that's on the property and they have to pay you. And that lien stays in place either until the redemption period is over. Okay. And then once the redemption period is over, you get the property if they don't redeem it. So you bid on the interest rate. So sometimes you can say how much interest, whatever. You pay the county and then you get a certificate. You don't get a deed, you don't get title, you get a certificate that just basically says you bought this property, this is your certificate, this is how much you paid, this is how much you'll get back, and it has the redemption period on the certificate. Now wait for the redemption period or foreclose after the redemption period ends. This is the kicker. You have to foreclose on this property in some states because the redemption period, so the redemption period in Georgia and Tennessee, for better, is 1 year. Yep. So if I pay $120,000, if I pay $20,000 and I'm going to get $4,000, I'm going to get $24,000, but I'm not going to get that money. The owner has 1 year to pay me the $24,000. Yeah, y'all hear that, right? The owner has 1 year to pay me $24,000. Now, if for some reason this property gets damaged or anything else, and I want to protect my investment and I want to do some work, I have to go to court and a judge has to okay any renovations or anything that I want to do with this property. Here's the kicker. Any renovations that you do to the property that are approved by the court gets added to the cost that you put into the property. So say it was 20,000, you put in another 10, so now you're at 30, right? So now you're at 30,000. 30,000 times 20%. Now you're getting $36,000 back. In order for the owner to get their property back, they have to give you $36,000. You just made $6,000 in interest on $30,000 in 12 months if they redeem it. Now, if they don't redeem it, you just got you just paid $30,000 for a property that's probably worth 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000. Now, let me explain what recently happened. So my uncle passed away in 2021. His children decided they wanted to keep the property. They didn't want my help because they all told me, well, the one kid that's in charge, he said, no, we're good. We don't have to do this. I have somebody, I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to live in it. We're going to use this as our house. So when we come to Buffalo, we have somewhere to live. Okay, blah, 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 blah. None of that happened. Long story short, I'm on my way to catch a flight. My other cousin calls me. Delisa, do you know they just sold Uncle's house at auction for $3,000? Really? Oh, let me check. I went in, looked at it. Yep, it's sold because I know how to go in and look at it. So when I looked at it, I said, yeah, it's up for auction today. So, hey, whatever. We tried to tell him what was going to happen if he didn't do it. He didn't pay the county taxes. Now, here's the reason why this is so astounding to anybody who knows us and knows our family. The taxes were only $250 per year. They had only been behind for 3 years, which was $750. Any one of us would have paid the $750 had my cousin said anything about it. And the house is valued right now without any work being done to it. The house was valued at $85,000. So this man who went to the auction and purchased my uncle's house for $3,000 got an $80,000 house with a tenant that's paying. So now he gets $1,000 a month and has been getting it since, when was that, October. So, and he paid $3,000 for the house. So $3,000 at auction in October. No, I'm sorry, it was September. September. So in September, he paid $3,000 for the house. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, now June, because we're now in July, and July. So that's 10 months of $1,000. He's already gotten $10,000 of his money back. But I'm going to be honest with you. Truth be told, he got 100% of his profit back already because he paid $3,000 for an $80,000 house. That gave him $77,000 in equity, earned equity. Now, he's really got an $80,000 asset because he doesn't own anything on it. So this is why it's important to know what type of state you're in. Now, there's no tax lien. There's no 1-year redemption. That house is gone. And you pay $3,000, any one of us would have paid that money. $750, we would have paid that. So you have to understand how that works. So the county holds the auction, and this is a tax deed. The county holds a tax deed auction. You bid on the property. You don't bid on the lien like you do in the tax deed. You bid on the property. When you bid on the property, and they usually start taking tax, they usually start the bid at how much is owed on the property. And some people think because the bid started, like my uncle's house, for instance, started at $750, that the property probably wasn't worth it. They didn't know. It's fully functioning. Utilities are on. It's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, full basement, 2-car garage with a concrete patio. Because my uncle was a concrete specialist before he got sick and passed away. He had a concrete patio in the back, nice size yard in a decent neighborhood. $3,000. So you can get all of these things from that. Okay. Now, let's talk. I've given you some examples of tax deeds, and I gave you an example of a tax lien, tax liens and tax deeds. Now, tax lien, after 1 year, most likely after 1 year, you get your money back plus 20% if the homeowner decides to redeem. If the homeowner does not redeem, then you get the house. Now you can go in, fix it up, and do what you need to do with it. Sell it if you want. You can do whatever. You can sell it as is and make a crap ton of money for it. So imagine my uncle's house was tax lien, and he paid $3,000 at auction. And he said, you know what? My redemption period is up. I'm going to sell it. So he calls a real estate agent, puts it on the market for $100,000. This man, not only does he get his $3,000 back, but he also now got $97,000 back. So he's made $97,000. That's why people purchase tax liens. You can make a crap ton of money doing tax liens. You just have to be patient, and you have to use money that you that you don't need right away. I'm going to say it again. You have to use money that you don't need right away because you're not going to get it back right away. Okay, you have to wait out that redemption period. Now, let me give you 5 tax deed states. So you can start looking up the tax deeds and seeing when the auctions are. Get yourselves familiar. You are going to go. Texas is a tax deed state. Georgia is tax deeds and liens. California, tax deed. Florida, tax deed. Arkansas, tax deed. Now, tax lien states where they just put a lien on the property. Arizona, Illinois, New Jersey, Maryland, and Iowa. Now, some states like Florida and Georgia are hybrids. And by what we mean by hybrid, anytime you hear the word hybrid, it means they do both. They do tax deeds and tax liens depending on the municipality. So it depends on the county. It might depend on the village, the town, the city, or the county. But the state itself says we do tax deeds. But the individual municipalities can say they do tax liens. Okay. Now, let me talk about redemption periods. A redemption period is the period of time a homeowner has to repay the investor, which is you, because you're going to go out and buy tax deeds and tax liens this year. You, the investor, and still keep their home. So they have to go out and pay somebody. They have to go back and pay your $20,000 plus the $4,000 for the interest to give you your money back. In Florida, the redemption period on tax liens can be up to 2 years. I just gave you some free game. In Florida, the redemption period can be up to 2 years. In Georgia, 1. If a homeowner redeems, you get your investment plus the interest. The interest can be anywhere between 8% in some states up to 20% in some states. So it depends on the state and what they do. If it's not redeemed, you may initiate a foreclosure to take ownership of the property. I'm going to say it again. If it's not redeemed, you initiate the foreclosure so you can take ownership of the property because you have a lien on that property and they're supposed to pay you back and they don't, so you get it. Okay? Now, what you will need at auction, because y'all crazy, y'all think y'all can just come here and do what y'all want to do. No, that's not how that works. Most auctions require a full payment, or they want at least 5 to 10% of the bid amount, the amount you bid, not the amount of the taxes that's owed. So, using the young man who bought my uncle's house, he bid $3,000, so he needs 10% of that, which is $300 to put down. Okay, my friend who did the tax lien in Memphis, Tennessee, she bid 180. She needed 20% down. So she needed 36,000. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 36,000. Don't quote me. Hold on. 180,000 times 20. Yeah, 36,000. Told you I'm horrible with math. Don't play with me. Okay? It does not. So you need that. Some accept certified funds, meaning a cashier's check or a wire transfer. You have to confirm payment requirements with the county in advance so you know to have your money ready. Okay? So that's what you have to do. Make sure you know the process before you just go up to the auction and say, hey, I'm going to buy a house. And then you get your hand slapped for doing the wrong thing. Now, if you do the wrong thing at these auctions, like say you bid on something and you don't have the money, they can ban you from coming to other auctions. Yes, they will. They will ban your little behind right up out of there. You'll never be allowed to come back to an auction ever in your life. I know a couple of people in here in Buffalo who got banned. Okay, now here's some pros and cons. The pros of doing tax deeds and tax liens: low entry costs. It doesn't require your credit. You get passive income pretty much from the tax liens. You get passive income and you have a chance to buy real estate way below market value. So that's the beauty of it. Now here's some challenges. We're not gonna call them cons. Some challenges. You must do the research or risk bad investments. Now, a lot of y'all like to get your information from YouTube. Hi YouTube, for my YouTubers who are following me. If you don't know, I do have a YouTube channel and I go in depth with other videos. We have past videos are all on YouTube. So if you like it, you can go over to YouTube and subscribe. Or you can keep following me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm all for that too. All right. Now, another thing you guys have to understand, you can't get a 60-second soundbite or get your information from a 60-second reel and think you know what to do. Real estate is not a complicated industry, but it's not as easy to maneuver as people like to make it seem. Now, I don't say this, I say get your money. And my job is to teach you how to get it. So that's what I do. But I need you guys to understand this is a wait and see industry. Wait for your money industry. We don't get paid. And I don't care who you are, investor, real estate agent, broker, contractors. Contractors, they'll tell you we get paid a percentage of the money that we're owed. And then we don't get paid till the job is done. Real estate agents will tell you, and you will hear them all the time. That's why they hustle. They do not get paid until the deal closes. I don't care how much money you put down, your real estate agent does not get paid until that deal is closed. And then even when the deal is closed, you have to wait for one brokerage to send the money to another brokerage. Same thing with tax deeds, tax liens. Tax liens, you don't get paid until the redemption period is over. So you might not get paid for a whole year. We just heard in some parts in Florida, you don't get paid for 2 years. So that means this person has 2 whole years to come back and get their property from you to make your money. But here's the beautiful part of that. If somebody owed you 20,000 and they got a 20% interest rate, that's 24,000. Where, besides the stock market, where are you going to put your money on hold for $20,000? Your $20,000 on hold for a year and make $4,000? Nowhere except the stock market, and that's iffy. But at least here, you're going to either make 4,000 or you're going to make the value of that house. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't know how to explain it no different to y'all, but that's how it is. That's how it works. Okay. Now, you must do the research so you don't risk doing it backwards and getting kicked out. Your redemption periods can delay the return on your investment, meaning you have to wait that redemption period out. Some properties have title or structure issues. If you buy a home at auction, when you buy a house at auction, most municipalities will have that title free and clear for you. They will get rid of any encumbrances or title issues and anything else because you're buying the house at auction for the price that you paid it off. So they make sure everything is clear. However, some don't. When you buy a tax lien, you just bought the lien. There might be another loan that's on this house. There might be a judgment against this house. If there was a contractor that did any work, you might have a mechanic's lien. That's what a mechanic's lien is, guys. It's when your contractor puts a lien against your property because you thought you was gonna get one over and not pay them. So now before you sell that house, you gotta pay your contractor. Be surprised how many people forget that. So you want to do that. And you may need to foreclose, which takes time and legal fees. So if you have to foreclose, you still get the house, which is going to recover your money once you sell it. So that's how you want to do it. Okay. Now, what are some of the must-dos and must-don'ts? What you must do when you are going to get into tax liens and tax deeds, the first thing you must do, and if you're enjoying this live stream on TikTok, hit the like button, give me some hearts, give me some flowers. I appreciate it. If you are, this is what you must do. You must research these properties thoroughly. You can do a general title search. Most counties now are online. You can literally go online. I know our county, Buffalo, New York, Erie County, it's online. You can do it right online and just do a preliminary title search about anything and everything that's going on. Understand your state laws and the auction's rules. Like I told you, you can be banned from an auction for showing up, bidding on something that you don't have the money for. A lot of that comes into play when you do this, okay? Now, attend auctions or online and observe before you go out there and start putting your money on the line. Go and attend an auction. I went to a foreclosure auction last year. I went to we haven't had a tax auction for the city of Buffalo in 5 years. Not because we don't want to, it's just that we didn't have to. This year we're having one though. So hope they're ready. So you want to make sure that you know when the auctions are, the rules for the auctions, what's the process. Go watch an auction. You'd be surprised how many times they don't just have them. Like in Buffalo, we have one big city auction for city taxes once a year, county taxes once a year. That's it. But we have foreclosure auctions every day. So you can go downtown and just look and see. You need to know what the process is for getting a foreclosure. Going to the auction. You need to know what that process is before you just jump out there with both feet and drown. I want you to have your funds ready and verified. Start putting your money in a separate account. If you know you want to pay, your max budget is $10,000 and your auction is coming up, like our city auction is in October. Toward the end of the month, it's usually those last 3 days of the month before Halloween. So if I know it's today is July 2nd, and I have until the end of October for the auction, but I want to make sure I have at least $10,000 saved up, I'm going to start putting that money away in a separate account. That's what you have to do in order to get this thing. You got to be prepared. Now, what you don't do, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, don't go out here and tell these people I told y'all to do any of this stuff I'm telling you not to do, because I will say, oh no, I did not. Don't assume you'll automatically get the property with a tax lien, because I just told you you have to wait out the redemption period. Don't skip due diligence. Due diligence is when you investigate a property to make sure it is what it is, it does what it does, and it smells like what it smells like. So you want to make sure the who, the what, the why, the where, and the ends, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and all the punctuation is matched up so that you get into a property. And some properties are in bad shape and they're worthless. So you ride by it. They have to put out a list of properties before the auction, because you have to send notice, public notice, to people that they owe this money, and if they don't pay, that their house is going to be gone. So when that list comes out, go and investigate every property on the list. I will call the water company and see when's the last time they had water. I will call the electric company and see when's the last time they had electric. You do stuff like that. If it's a property that you really want, you have to go in and set yourself up for and do your due diligence. Now, don't overbid, okay? Now, I see people do that too. Oh, I'm not going to bid no more. All right, I'll go 10,000 more. And then next thing you know, you done tapped into your renovation money. Stop it. Don't do that. If you know this house is only worth $10,000 and you say I'm maxing out at $10,000, don't overbid just to be, oh, this person trying to outbid me, I'm going to be mad. Okay. Now you mad and broke. So stop doing that. Okay. And don't forget about additional costs. Cleanup costs, legal, you might have to evict if that property has a tenant, and the rehab costs. And then, of course, your legal for the redemption. Now, I'm going to ask you again and again, and I say this every time, you follow me on these real estate streets, on these live streams. One thing I have to ask you is this: did you learn something new today? If you learned something new, put a 1 in the chat. If you didn't, put 1 anyway. Ha! Y'all thought I was going to say, oh, put a 2 if you didn't learn anything. No. If you did, if you have any questions, make sure you're putting your questions in the chat, please. And the reason why I say that is because I'm going to I'm going to answer any questions. We're going into our Q&A section of my live stream. You can go to my YouTube channel and download. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch videos of everything that we have going on over there. As far as tax liens, tax deeds, this video will probably be up briefly on YouTube. I know it won't show up after I go off live on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, but it does show up on YouTube. All the previous videos are there. They will be coming down on the 10th. After the 10th, they go in the vault, and they're never to be seen until I decide to bring them back out. Bring them out, bring them out. Now, if you are enjoying the content of Creative Financing Strategies, the first day we taught you how to set up your business so that you're ready for funding. We talked about hard money loans. We talked about private money loans. We talked about lease options, seller finance, subject to, and today, our 7th topic, 7. And just 7 topics over the past 10 days that we've discussed, 7 topics. Today we talked about tax deeds, tax liens, know the difference between the two, how to operate between the two, and how you can make money doing both. Okay, now this is a strategy that I teach inside my programs, 2 of my programs actually. It's called Creative Wealth Academy. Creative Wealth Academy is where you can work with me for a year, and I will help you navigate these real estate streets and build your portfolios up. Now, when we say build your portfolios up, we teach you the information. In the Creative Wealth Academy, you get all the pre-recorded trainings. You get 1 quarterly one-on-one with me, and we go over your strategies and your formats. And you get access to our private community. Yep, sure do. Now, in the Momentum Masterclass, where we build 7-figure portfolios, that's where you work with me 1-to-1. You're going to work with me one-on-one for 90 days, for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. Depends on how you want to work with me. During that course, I will come visit you in your markets to help you and assist you in getting your properties done the right way. Yeah, I like to travel, so I like to go see and meet all my people. And I usually do a public event while I'm visiting. I'll be in Atlanta in the next couple of weeks. I don't know exactly what date because I'm not looking at my calendar. So this is what we do. Now, if you want to work with, you want to learn how to wholesale real estate, because that's one of the creative strategies that we go over. And we're going to be going over it again starting tomorrow because somebody asked me to. So I said, yes, I would. So if you want to learn how to wholesale real estate, why do we learn how to wholesale real estate? So we can stack cash because we have challenge credit, so we need cash. We we stack it if we have good credit just because we want to stack up some cash. We wholesale real estate. We learn how to wholesale real estate even if we don't want to wholesale the act of wholesaling real estate, and we actually just want to learn fundamentals of real estate investing. Learning how to wholesale real estate will give you that. Deal analytics, contract reviews, negotiations, all of that is in there. And guess what? Until 11:59 p.m. tonight, you can buy the wholesale starter kit. Let me tell you what you get in the starter kit. You get 7 pre-recorded trainings that go along with the 60+ page workbook that also has guides and trackers and calculators inside. There are 8 different contract templates that we use on the wholesaling real estate side, and those are also included. Along with, you get access to, I think that one has private community. So if you are interested in learning how to wholesale real estate, just so you can get the fundamentals of real estate investing down, today until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I am on the East Coast and I like to go to bed. East Coast time, it is only $47. How much does it normally cost, Elisa? $997. It's only $47. So if you would like that link, you would like to do it, you can tap the link. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or wherever, it's in the comments underneath this video. And it is the link is in my bio, I think, on TikTok. So if you're interested in purchasing that, the Wholesaler Starter Toolkit. It is everything you need to learn how to wholesale real estate. It's very easy to follow along. The videos go along with the workbook, and there's worksheets, workbook, contracts, everything is in there, okay? Now, I am going to get up out of here because it is now 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out here, and I just sent, while I was on the phone with you guys, I just sent 1,000 text messages out, so had them set up to go out before. And I just got an offer on another property. I just saw it pop up. I'm trying to figure out why is it popping up when I know I put on my do not disturb, but stuff is still just popping up all over the place. Now, so if you would like to get to, and if you don't want, you're not sure what you need as far as that, you can always book what we call our strategy sessions. I do free strategy sessions for 30 minutes, and I will go over where you are in real estate and figure out what you need to do based on where you are right now. If you're interested in a strategy session, please just DM me. Hey girl, I need a strategy session. Can you send me the link? And I will send you the link to put you on my calendar. Keep in mind, if you are a no call, no show, you will never get another free strategy session ever, or at least not for a very long time. All right. Now, remember what I always tell you, you can choose to be anything you want in this life. I just hope you choose to be kind, because at some point in your life, somebody's been kind to you, and it's good to pay kindness forward. Not only does that make you a good person, it also means we'll be in a much better world if we all decided to do it. Correct? Correct. So, if this was your first time, don't let it be your last. And if you've been here with me before, please and thank you for always coming out and supporting your girl and all my shenanigans. I do appreciate the love, and I love teaching. So as long as you continue to come back, I'll continue to teach. That's how this works. If by any chance you have any real estate questions, just drop me a message. I usually If I don't get to you as soon as you drop a message, it's because I'm busy. Like I said, I'm getting ready to go clean out a basement. That's why I'm sitting here in a t-shirt today. So as soon as we do that, and then what I normally would do is I'm usually in my inbox in my messages between 9 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. because I try to shut down all electronics before at least an hour or two before I go to sleep. So that's how that is. So hey y'all, hey, thank you for all for coming out, and I appreciate the love. And I will be back on here. Today is Wednesday. I will be back on here tomorrow, and I might walk you through. Depends on what time the guy comes for my fence, but I'm supposed to be. He's supposed to be getting. We're supposed to be meeting at a property and doing some fence estimates for a flip that I'm doing. So I'll be giving you guys some content on that. All right. So, like I said, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hasta la bye bye. And I'll see you guys. See you when I see you.